it facilitating large scale production. So what happens is, and wholesaler is giving a services to two people. One is a manufacturer, another is a retailer. Take delivery of the goods and keep the goods purchased in large lots of their warehouses. Now, though the industry or the factory are very big, but whatever they produce, they can't store it. They don't have the proper storage or the warehouse of the good on. Now, the wholesaler takes care of the distribution of goods to a number of retailers. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Business Studies in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome back to the second session. Now here we'll actually go with a beautiful topic, that is the manufacturers. What exactly the services will be given by the wholesaler to the manufacturer. Now, services to manufacturers, you are supposed to know these are the listed services. I'll tell you students, if you have not watched the session 1, please watch the session 1, and we have done the wholesaler part where the wholesaler is giving services to two of them. One is the manufacturer, another is the retailer. So the first one here is all about services to the manufacturer. The first thing here is it facilitating large scale production. So what happens is, that is what the wholesaler is giving him the assurance. Next is bearing risk, and then we have financial assistance, expert advice, help in marketing function, facilitate continuity, and the last one is storage. So these are the services the wholesaler is giving it to the manufacturers, that is services to manufacturers. One is what? Facilitating large scale production. Now he'll give a hope saying that you produce the bulk thing, I'll take it from you, I'll make sure the product will reach the consumer. Next is bearing risk. Now he is taking the risk. Who's taking the risk? The wholesaler is taking the risk. Even if it's a new product or the old product, the wholesaler is taking the risk of buying those products. Next is financial assistance. So sometimes what happens is the manufacturers, they go to the wholesaler and they ask the money. Now understand here, it's not happening with the very big companies. It happens to the small companies or the small entrepreneurs who goes to the wholesaler saying that we'll manufacture, but you are supposed to give us the amount. Then expert advice. Now the wholesaler will be knowing what the consumer wants, what the retailer wants, what the market really wants. So sometimes the wholesaler will be an expert in advising also. So there are so many companies which take feedback from the wholesalers, right? That is, what is a product actually? See, a company has a lot of products, and lot of product will be actually purchased by the wholesaler. The wholesaler will get to know the grip of the market, the taste of the market, the fashion of the market, and he will actually give a feedback saying that what are the products the company should manufacture more, what are the products the company should not manufacture more. All these things will be given by the expertise advice of the wholesaler. Next is helps in marketing function. That is, while marketing also, if the marketing agency, which is a third party, will be taken by the company, if they fail also, the wholesaler will attract with prices and with some schemes so that he'll help them in the marketing function as well. Facilitate continuity. Now he will actually take those product continuously. So that is what it facilitates continuity. And the last one is the storage. If the company doesn't have the warehousing, now they can actually give it to the wholesaler. The wholesaler will store the goods for the company. So these are the services which the wholesaler is giving to the manufacturer. Let's check one by one. We'll understand what exactly happens here. Now before that, you need to remember that we have something called trade. And in this trade, we have two things. One is internal, another is external. Now in this chapter, we are only going with internal trade. The next chapter we have is international business, where we go with external trade. Now here, internal, there are two. One is wholesaler, another is retailer, right? Retailer. Now, when we go with the retailer, what happens is the wholesaler, and then we have a retailer. Retailer is a person who buys from the wholesaler, and wholesaler is giving a services to two people. One is a manufacturer, another is a retailer. And the manufacturing, all these things, whatever they do is they go with facilitating large scale production. The first one is wholesalers collect small orders from number of retailers and pass on the pool of such orders to manufacturers. So what happens here is the wholesaler here, he'll take all the orders from whom? The retailer, that how much they require. And then the wholesaler will tell this to the manufacturer. Now manufacturer will get to know how much he need to manufacture and make purchase in bulk quantity. This enables the producers to undertake production on a large scale and take advantage of the economies of scale. So unnecessary, the manufacturer will not make more product, or the manufacturer will not make less product. He'll take the order from whom? From the wholesaler. Now who will give the order? The wholesaler will get the order from the retailer. Now how is that retailer is getting the order? Now the retailer will watch the market closely, because consumers and the customer go more to the retailer than the wholesaler or the manufacturer. Bearing risk. Now you need to know that there are two types of risk. One is avoidable. Another is unavoidable. Now let's check whether the risk is avoidable or unavoidable. The wholesale merchant deals in goods in their own name, take delivery of the goods and keep the goods purchased in large lots of their warehouses. In this process, they bear a lot of risks, such as risk of fall of price. Risk of fall of price. Now, risk of fall of price is unavoidable because market has more of uncertainty. Uncertainty. Theft. Now, theft is avoidable. You can actually go for a proper security. Now, theft is avoidable. Then we have spoilage, fire, etc. To that extent, they relieve the manufacturer from bearing these risks. Now, the manufacturer will give all the things to the wholesaler. The wholesaler will actually keep it. Now, what happens is, it's all the risk of the wholesaler. Now, there are two types of risk. One is avoidable, another is unavoidable. When you go with avoidable, that means if you would have taken safety measures, you would have avoided it. Now, if you take safety measures also, sometimes it is not avoidable because it is not in your hands. That is called unavoidable. So manufacturers will be relieved. That is, whatever happens, it happens to the wholesaler. Now wholesaler has taken all the product in his name. In his name. Next we have is financial assistance. Now, what type of financial assistance? Now you need to know that source of business. Source of finance. Here what happens is, the wholesaler provides financial assistance to the manufacturer in the sense that they generally make cash payment for the goods. They generally give what? Cash payment for the goods purchased by them. To that extent, the manufacturer need not block their capital in the stock. Sometimes they also advance money to the for bulk order. Now understand. You already know that stakeholders, shareholders, promoters, all those things in the source of business, source of finance, right? The same way here, when we give payment in advance, payment in cash, what happens is, it is always an advantage to the manufacturer. And what is advantage to you? The manufacturer will feel that you people are loyal and you people are honest and he will have business with you. That's the reason the wholesaler does everything to get that relationship. So financially he'll assist those manufacturers by paying them cash and then paying them advance. That means before the order has been placed, he'll actually give him the money. So that will actually fetch the manufacturer to go with work in progress, and he can take and use those money for a proper management. Next is expert advice. Expert advice. Please understand, when it comes to expert advice, now you have two types of expert advice. One is sometimes you go with a market survey and a market research. What is it? Market survey and market research. When you go with survey and research, what really happens? As a wholesaler are in direct contact with the retailer, they are in position to advise the manufacturer. Now what happens is, the wholesaler is doing a market research with the help of retailer. Because retailer is the only person who is in direct contact of the customers and the consumers. Aspect including customers' taste and preferences, market conditions, competitive activities. Now when you go with this competitive activities, the wholesaler is only giving the market survey. It's not about research, it's about survey. That is, who are the competitors, right? Who are the competitors is what the wholesaler will tell. Which company's product is being selling in the market more than yours. Now what is the reason of the selling? Now everything, the feedback he will actually give. That's why the expert advisors do. One is market research, it's already there, and he will go with more and more questions. He'll get to know what exactly the answers are, and then he'll tell. Then he also has something called market survey, that is, who all are the competitors for the same segmentation. I'll give you an example here, right? Let's go with one of the example, like chips. Okay, now the manufacturer of chips, there are many people who are the manufacturers. Say Lay's is there, Uncle Chips is there, Cheetos is there, now Kurkure is there. Now what happens here is, the wholesaler will tell the manufacturer that your product is good or not. How will he actually come to this conclusion? He'll do a market research as well as a market survey with the help of the retailer, because a retailer is the only person who is there with the customers and the consumers. So they have more position than the manufacturers. Now if the customers are just coming and buying more and more product of Uncle Chips, and the wholesaler need to give advice to the Lay's company, now what happens is, he'll actually tell the manufacturer of Lay's or Kurkure, saying that Uncle Chips is a brand which is in the market and they are leading really good. Now what happens is, the manufacturer will get to know what are the reasons of Uncle Chips to be very famous. Now it can be because of the price, it can be because of the taste, it can be because of the labeling. Now what happens is, they are giving a proper advice to whom? The manufacturer. Next one, helps in marketing function. Now the wholesaler takes care of the distribution of goods to a number of retailers, who in turn sell to large number of customers spread over the large geographical area. This relieves the manufacturers of many of the marketing activities and enable them to concentration on the production activity. That means here what happens is, the manufacturers, they cannot come and see the final consumer. They can't. Okay, customer. So in order, what happens is, the wholesaler will give it to the retailer, and the retailer will actually sell it to the customers. Now what happens is, the manufacturer will give all his responsibilities, or he feels that the wholesaler is there and he'll help him. So manufacturer can only concentrate on what? Concentrate on production or productivity. This is what happens. Next one we have is facilitate continuity. The wholesaler facilitate continuity of production activity throughout the year by purchasing the goods as and when these are produced. So what happens is, you have industry here. Industry. Now, on a regular basis, the wholesaler will buy. The wholesaler will buy. That means what? There is a continuity of buying and selling which happens with the manufacturer and the wholesaler. And the last one is called storage. Now, you are supposed to know what exactly storage is all about. Now, when the manufacturer produce all the goods, we call that as finished goods, and they are ready to be sold in the market. What happens is they don't have proper warehouse and godown. Some of the manufacturers, they are dependent on the wholesaler. Now here what happens is the wholesaler will give the warehousing or the godown. Now when they go with it, godowns. Now what happens is they'll give them the storage facilities, right? And whenever the manufacturers produce the things, the wholesaler are the one who will actually buy them in bulk. So wholesaler take delivery of goods when these are produced in factory and keep them in their godowns, warehouses. This reduces the burden of manufacturers. This reduces the burden of manufacturer of providing for storage. So that is what the services the wholesaler does. Right? Now please understand all these things. There is a link that what the wholesaler gives or renders his services to the manufacturer. So students, these are the things which you people need to know. I have given you all the 7 points that what is the services the wholesaler gives it to the manufacturer. If you have any doubt regarding this, please do call us. We are always there to help you. And thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.